The Herdmans were absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world. They lied and stole and smoked cigars, even the girls, and talked dirty and hit little kids and cussed their teachers and took the name of the Lord in vain. And they took over last year's Christmas pageant. Did you miss it? Don't worry. I'll tell you about it later. They were just so all around awful. They were big, bad, awful, horrible, downright miserable bullies. And you couldn't tease them about anything. You couldn't holler,
"Your father's in jail, your father's in jail."
because they didn't care. Actually, they didn't know what their father was or where he was or anything about him. Because when Herdman was 2 years old, he climbed on a railway train and disappeared. Nobody blamed him. Mrs. Herdman worked double shifts at the shoe factory and wasn't home much. But every now and then you'd see her walking the cat on a length of chain around the block. My mother's friend, Miss Phillips, was a social worker, and she tried to get some welfare money for the Herdmans, so that Mrs. Herdman could work just one shift and spend more time with her children. But Mrs. Herdman wouldn't do it. She said she liked the work. "It's not the work," Miss Phillips told my mother, "and it's not the money. It's just that she'd rather be at the shoe factory than home with that crowd of kids." She sighed. I can't say I blame her. The Herdmans were big, bad, awful, horrible, downright miserable bullies, and they made fun of everyone. By the Herdmans, and we looked forward to Sunday as a real day of rest. But last Christmas they came to church. That's right. Those big, bad, awful, horrible, downright miserable Herdmans slouched right into church and took over the Christmas pageant. You would have thought that after being in the pageant last year, the Herdmans might have learned a bit about Jesus and loving your neighbor and all that stuff. But it didn't seem like they've changed at all. Except Imogene started to punch me in the shoulder when no one was looking. I guess that was her way of saying she liked me. I wish she didn't like me so much. One day at school, Imogene was particularly mean to Alice Wendelkin.
"Those big, bad, awful, horrible, downright miserable Herdmans are so mean.
Did you hear what Claude brought to show and tell last week?
I bet it was peanuts. I'm allergic to peanuts, and they know it too.
Everyone knows that!
It wasn't peanuts. It was a cat.
Their cats?
Yup.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
My mom said that it's not really a cat, it's a wolf.
I heard they hadn't fed it for 3 days, so now it's really mad. I heard it jump straight out of the box and landed on top of the blackboard. That can't be true.
Really? Didn't you see the scratch mark on Mrs. Brindle's patch on the chalkboard?
I heard Miss Brandle ran around with broom and coat over her head, yelling, "Here, kitty, kitty, here, kitty, kitty, here, kitty, kitty, for kitty."
Did it come?
No, it was too busy eating goldfish.
Yep.
I'm gonna be sick. Cooties, cooties, you've got cooties. I do not. Yes, you do. You got them at summer camp. You did? Yuck! I don't have them anymore.
But you had them.
Oh no! What? I think I'm gonna be sick again! I don't have them anymore, honest. I just saw one jump. And why did you hit her? Because I had to knock those cooties off her. But you knocked her so hard, she went cross-eyed. So, better than getting cooties. Let's get away from these cooties. I bet now all you kids have them.
Yeah.
I hate them. The only place we're safe from them is at church.
Not even there. They took over the pageant last year.
Don't remind me.
And they took all the good cards.
Don't remind me.
They got Mary, Joseph, and the angel Gabriel.
Even the 4 wise people. 4 wise people?
Yeah, 4 wise people. Everyone knows the Bible says 3 wise men.
Actually, the Bible doesn't quite say there were 3. And it doesn't actually quite say there were men either.
My mom said that they were 40 of them.
Well, it does say they were wise. So maybe they weren't men.
That's what my mom said. That's what my mom said too.
You can't hold her out of this. It was her fault she let them in last year.
Don't remind me.
I hope they're not in this year. Last year they came to rehearsal with peanut butter sandwiches. They know I'm allergic to peanuts.
Everyone knows that!
Well, this year, we have to make sure they stay out.
1, 2, 3, yeah!
Gotta get away now, go, go, go! Leave us, Herdmans! Gotta leave us, Herdmans! Bye-bye! Bye-bye!
mother was being grilled by Mrs. Armstrong about last year's Christmas pageant. Mrs. Armstrong always ran the pageant. Actually, she did everything at church, except preach. But last year, she broke her leg just before Christmas. So, when all Mrs. Armstrong's duties were divided among the other women at church, Mom ended up with the pageant. The Herdmans found out we were putting on a play, and they thought it would be like being in the movies, so they made sure they were in it. Mrs. Armstrong thought the pageant was doomed for failure. She said she would have kicked the Herdmans out of church, like the dead mouse we found under the crib in the nursery. That made my mother furious, and she determined to make it the best Christmas pageant ever. And it kind of was.
I want to thank you for your determination to go through with the Christmas pageant last year, in spite of everything that happened.
What do you mean by that, Helen?
Well, most normal people would have called the entire thing off rather than ruining a perfectly good pageant with those monstrous heeny children.
It's Herdman, Helen.
Oh, whatever. I would never have allowed them into the play, but you forged right on giving them all the parts.
Well, I didn't have much of a choice.
I see. And then you went along with it, acting as if they hadn't ruined it at all. That's what I admire most about you, how you hold your head up high in the face of that devastating defeat.
Oh, thank you so very much.
It was such a tragedy, but you took it all in stride.
You wouldn't call it a tragedy now.
Oh, anything with those awful hellions in it.
Yeah, Herdman's.
Whatever. Oh, it was a shame.
Well,
Those children are so bad. But you know, they don't even hold the handrails.
well, I'd like to know what you would have done.
Oh, I would have had them pass out programs.
We don't have any programs.
Well, maybe you should have had some printed then. Anyway, it doesn't matter because this year I don't intend on breaking my leg, and I'll ensure that the pageant runs smoothly and Hellman-free.
Very well, Helen. Just a piece of advice. In case they do show up, ignore anything but blood.
The next Sunday, as expected, Mrs. Armstrong went to every Sunday school class to make her annual announcement. She made the same speech every year, so she didn't get any wild applause. But this year, we all looked at each other a little bit nervously. We didn't want a repeat of last year, except me. I kind of wished inside that the Herdmans would come back and make things interesting again. But I didn't dare let anyone else know what I was thinking.
Now, next week we'll be beginning our rehearsals for the pageant. So remember to tell your parents that you'll be staying late after church while we discuss the play and assign parts.
This year I just have to be Mary in the Christmas pageant.
Why?
Because everyone knows I look just like Mary. What did Mary look like? She looked like me.
Oh.
Mary was Jewish. Do you look Jewish? I guess I must if I look like Mary. No. I don't want Gladys to be the angel. Why not? Because she is every time she says Shazam.
Last year she booked me and Daddy this for a wing. My mom said they should be flung over the bridge of the lake so no one gets hurt.
We need to keep them out of our pageant.
I got it. What if we tell them that the church
isn't a peanut-free building. Maybe they're allergic too. Did you know I'm allergic to peanuts?
Everyone knows that!
But it is.
I know, but we could lie.
That'd be really sneaky.
But all they ever eat is peanut butter.
I don't think they can afford anything else.
I have an idea what happens if we tell them that there's lots of cakes and chocolates and lollipops and candies and candy canes at church, and then when they arrive, we lock them inside.
How do we do that? The door has a crash bar.
Well, we can launch them in the elevator.
Yeah, they'd be in there forever.
What if they have to go to the bathroom? That won't bother them.
I think I'm gonna be sick. But the elevator's working now.
It is?
How come we never play in it? Wayne won't let us.
My mom says elevators are dangerous.
How about we tell them that church is on Monday?
That's so stupid. Everyone knows church is on Sunday.
The Herdmans don't.
It'll never work.
It might work. See, I told ya. They'll show up for rehearsal, expecting to snag all the good parts.
And I'll already be married.
But what if Imogene's 6 pussy will so far down your ear that it sprouts and you have a pussy will growing out of your ear for the rest of your life? She won't do that though. She said she'd do it last year. But she didn't. Well, Alice wasn't there either.
So we tell them church is on Monday because of Thanksgiving.
I hate Thanksgiving. I always eat too much when I get sick.
Oh, poor muffin.
Sounds kind of sneaky.
Well, does anyone have a better idea?
No.
So Mrs. Armstrong will cast it on Monday, or on Sunday. Before they know maybe the trick.
I'll already be married.
It'll all be cast.
Cast in stone.
That's funny. But we have to keep your mother out of this. She'll let them back in.
Don't worry. Mom doesn't want anything to do with the pageant or the Herdmans.
So it's agreed. We tell them church is on Monday.
1, 2, 3, yeah!
We stay away from hurting these days.
his plan. The Herdman had not shown up in church. And we were almost at the benediction when
Shazam! You, a child boy. We're here. Are we late?
Where's the cake? Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be Anglicans. Don't Anglicans all the time?
When are we going to start rehearsals? Yeah, and this year, I'm going to be married. Or not. Am too. Or not. Am
Peace of
too.
the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all, evermore. Amen. All right, Mrs. Armstrong, over to you. Mrs. Armstrong? Mrs. Armstrong? Ruth, why don't you start the play while I go look for Mrs. Armstrong?
okay.
Good
There
luck.
wasn't much my mother could do. Everyone knows you can't argue with the rector. He's like God. Jesus, or maybe Elijah. So we all filed into the back 7 pews of the church and waited to see what those big, bad, horrible, downright miserable Herdmans would do.
Oh, sit down. Sit down here, please. Okay, well, kids, this won't take too long. First, we'll talk about rehearsals. We're going to have rehearsals on Wednesdays at 6:30. We'll only have 5, so you make sure to get to every single practice, okay? And it's little children from the nursery and the primary class will be angels. And
Just get to the part where you give me the role of Mary already.
yes, and just take a seat. The older boys and girls, they'll be shepherds and guests at the inn and members of the choir. So we need to cast Mary, Joseph, the 3 wise men. Oh, excuse me, wise people, and the angel of the Lord. Okay, so Mary was a quiet and kind sort of person, so the girl who's playing her should try to be like that. Who would like to be Mary this year?
I think I should be married again this year, because I did such a good job last year. So you know I'd be able to do it again this year.
Well, yes, Imogene, you did a wonderful job last year, dear, but shouldn't we give someone else a chance?
No.
How about Emma, Jean, or Alice? Alice, would you like to play Mary this year?
I guess not.
Yeah, then I'm married. I'll do way better than Imogene ever did. Girls, it's not a competition. Well, it sure feels like it.
Well, let's just move on to Joseph. Okay, Ralph, you were Joseph last year, and Bobby the year before that. Who of the boys would like to be Joseph this year? No, Liza, you can't be Joseph. Anyone else?
Claude will be Joseph, won't you, Claude?
I'd be delighted.
Oh, fantastic. So now we need to pick an angel of the Lord.
I should be the angel again. Shazam! Did you see how good I was when I came in today? How everyone stared at me in awe.
You gotta admit, it's true. Who cares about the stupid angel? I just want to be married. I'd kind of like to be married too, but Mother would never give me a big role. She says it would look too preferential or something like that.
Is there anyone else who wants to play the angel?
Fine, I'll be the stupid angel. Shabam!
She doesn't even say the right word.
Oh, she can learn it. I mean, there's no shabam anyways.
Yeah, it's Shazam.
Ow! Anyway, just remember, the wise people don't say shabam or
They
shazam.
don't. Not even when they give Mary those franks and incense. I bet it's more like fireworks and sparkles and looks really cool.
I want to be a wise man.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's the only chance I get to be smart.
Okay, that's fine. So I guess Ralph and Leroy and all, you can all be the wise people.
No, I'm going to be a shepherd.
Why do you want to be a shepherd?
I get to carry sticks and
Oh,
I want to be a shepherd too. Me too.
Please, make them be wise men.
Yes, that settles it. That settles it. Gladys, Ralph, Leroy, and Ollie, you'll all be the wise people. Okay, great. What's that? Oh, Helen! Oh, dear! What happened to you? What happened?
Mom, you've got to untie her.
Oh, I do? Well, I've never seen you speechless before. Oh, dearie me. What happened to you?
There's those big, bad, awful, horrible, downright miserable Herdmans.
It's Herdman.
Whatever. Oh,
If we're so bad, how come we got all the good parts?
what? You got all the parts?
Well,
Ruth, how could you let this happen? Again!
it just kind of happened. All the parts are cast now.
Cast in stone.
That's funny. You're too late. You're too late.
Well, I'm really sorry, but you weren't here. We didn't know where you were. We just kind of had to cast the roles without you.
That's right. Back in the church, back in charge, back in the play. Back in the play! What's say? Didn't want us, but we're in anyway! Time to roll! She rolls! Won't stop us again! She thinks she's smart, but we got all the parts! It's bad, just the start! Maybe scary, don't be worried! On is Joe, I'm a genius! We're back! We're back! We're back! We're back! We're back in the play. Yes, we're back in the play. Back in the play. Don't pray. On church on Christmas Day. Don't look pale. We will fail. We might even stay out of jail. So count to 10. We're back again. We'll do well. We're the Herdmans. Look at us now. We're mistaking our play. Don't try to push your luck. Just get out of our way. We're back. We're back. We're back. Yes, we're back. We're back. Back in the play. Yes, we're back in the play. Well, that didn't work. I told you it wouldn't. I don't understand. It was foolproof. Well, maybe they know that church is always on Sundays.
No, they're not. Have you seen the marks on that?
It was Thanksgiving. They should have believed church was on Monday. I guess they didn't.
Well, what are we gonna do now?
Same as last year. We're gonna keep our mouths shut.
Be ready to duck. That too.
After we kids left the church, I went to run around the basement and open every door we could find and drink the leftover apple juice and pretend to use the elevator. Mother was left upstairs untying Mrs. Armstrong, who at this point was fit to be tied.
oh, Helen, how did this happen? How did the children catch you? don't want to talk about it. How dare you call them children? They're nothing more than wild animals.
Well, we haven't had much guidance at home.
I don't care. And if you insist on having those creatures in this pageant, I won't be the director.
Oh, no! Ellen, please! Don't make me be the director, please! Won't you reconsider?
So, Mother got stuck with the play again. But I got the feeling she was almost happy about it. She liked the challenge. I kept catching her laughing at some of the things they asked and wanted to do. Most of all, she wanted to prove to Mrs. Armstrong that she could make it a success. The funny thing about rehearsal was that Mrs. Armstrong always seemed to show up for some reason or another. One time, she was decorating the church for Christmas. Another time, polishing the glasses for the potluck supper. And once, she was even cleaning the oven. My mother said to my father, "Really? Who cleans the church oven?" Just snooping around. And I suspected she was getting Alice Wendelkin to be her spy at rehearsals. I'd see Alice writing things in her notebook and slipping it to Mrs. Armstrong when she thought no one was looking.
What are you writing, Alice?
None of your beeswax.
Gladys Herdman drinks the communion. Alice, it's not even wine. It's grape juice. We're not Anglicans.
I don't care what it is. She drinks it. I've seen her 3 times with her mouth all purple. They steal crayons from the Sunday school cupboards, too.
Well, maybe they don't have crayons at home.
And if you shake the happy birthday bank in the kindergarten room, it doesn't even make a sound.
Well, for one thing, why would you want to go around shaking piggy banks? And for another, the happy birthday bank only had pennies in it. They're not worth anything anymore.
Be quiet. We're going to get started soon. So?
So, I don't want to miss anything that the Herdmans might say.
Okay, children, we still need to decide on some parts. There's the shepherds, angels, sheep,
Who's gonna hang Herod?
Hang Herod?
Yes, he wanted to kill all those babies, didn't he?
My baby.
It should be my baby.
Well, it's not.
Girls, stop. He wanted to kill everyone's baby. He even killed his own wife. How do you know that? My smarts.
We need to hang him. Yeah.
These man, can't we change the place we kill Herod?
No, that just won't do. But maybe we can make some small changes.
Can we add Rob Ford?
Oh, definitely not.
Can Mary punch Herod? I don't want to be Herod.
You don't have to be Herod.
Then who do I get to punch?
No one.
What if we all dress like zombies? We could even have cute little baby zombie cheeses. My mom said that zombies are real.
What about a laser show? Fireworks for the shepherds in the fields. Instead of some dumb angels, where are we gonna find fireworks? We'll have it for the next rehearsal. Now, we'll steal some. I mean, we'll find some.
No Herod, no punching, no zombies, no fireworks, and absolutely no Rob Ford.
Okay, how about some music? We always have music. Okay, I mean good music.
Yeah, not just those boring, old, silent nights and...
Ooh, we could all dress like knights. I could repair my area shield.
You could never be a silent knight.
My name is Ralph. I'm going to go to the Alps well, but sends else without.
Oh, I don't think so, Ralph. No rap music. We need something more traditional, old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned, hey? I got it. Disco. How about this? J-E-S-U-S, it's the birth of J-E-S-U-S.
Well, I'm really sorry to interrupt your peaceful rehearsal, but I'm looking for the vacuum cleaner.
Oh, sure you are.
Well, it's a good thing we turned up in time to hear the heathen music that you plan putting in this pageant. Just wait till I tell the rector, who's right over there.
Mrs. Armstrong, may I remind you, you had the chance to direct this pageant and you chose not to. Now, if you'll excuse us, we have a rehearsal. Go ahead, kids!
J-E-S-U-S, it's the birth of J-E-S-U-S. He's coming to all our lives. I feel great, what a surprise. It's the birth of J-E-S-U-S. It's the birth of J-E-S-U-S. We hope you all like our play. Have a wonderful Christmas day. S-U-S, it's the birth of J-E-S-U-S.
And that was it. There was no way Mother was going to take the disco out of the play after that. Unless she heard the voice of God. Or maybe the rector.
I'm sorry, ladies, but at this time of the year with so much to do, Mrs. Armstrong suggested we come and set up the tables and all.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure we won't be any bother to you.
I'm sorry, Susan, but we had no choice.
Sure thing.
What's that?
No problem. So, we'll be practicing far away from the kitchen. Don't worry about us. Ladies, you just go and work on your potluck. See you later. You won't even hear us. We won't be any bother. Okay.
But Mother was wrong that nobody heard them. Everybody in that end of town knew we were there before the evening was over.
All right, children. This is going to be our dress rehearsal. Oh, where's your costume?
I forgot my wings.
Oh, no, and where's your costume?
I don't have one. Where are your father's bathrobe?
He doesn't have a bathrobe.
What does he hang around the house in?
His underwear.
Don't write that down.
Why not?
Because it's stupid.
All right. It's not important right now if you don't have your costume. What's important is that we start at the beginning and we go all the way through to the end. Just as if the whole congregation were here. I'm going to sit at the back and be part of the audience. Emma-Jean, what's that you're carrying?
Well, I couldn't find the baby Jesus doll, so I just wrapped up this flower urn instead.
Oh.
Oops.
Oh, freaking Emma-Jean, that hurt.
Oh, I thought I'd just pass by and have a peek and
Sure.
you know, Mrs. Armstrong said it was an interesting rehearsal.
Well, of course. Why don't you sit down and watch?
No, thank you. Oh, my apple cake. Ooh.
You better check on that applesauce. Okay, so.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
I think I'm gonna be sick! I want a peanut-free, gluten-free snack.
My mom says that gluten-free is just that.
Okay, everyone, let's take a 5-minute break. And when we come back, we'll go right from the start to finish, no breaks. Okay? You ready?
Sure.
5 minutes. Go.
Don't worry, we're gonna show all of them. We're gonna put on the best Christmas pageant ever. We've got a surprise for you.
Oh, dear.
Mother wanted what she meant by a surprise, but she was gone in a flash with Imogene to the ladies' room, where they spent the whole time smoking cigars in one of the johns.
Fire, fire, fire! Call the fire department!
I'm on it. I'll take care of everything.
We were singing Angels We Have Heard on High when we heard the fire engine pulling up on the lawn of the church with the siren blaring and the red lights flashing. The firefighters hurried in and made us all go outside, and they dragged a big hose in the front door and went looking for a fire to put out. The street was full of baby angels crying and shepherds jumping all over the fire engine, and the ladies of the potluck committee and Reverend Hopkins, who ran over in his pajamas. Nobody knew what had happened, including the Herdmans, but they got out as quickly as possible because they thought it was them.
My church, what's happened to my church?
It's those big, bad, awful, horrible, downright miserable Hillmans.
Herdmans.
Whatever. They've set the church on fire.
Where did you see you saw the fire?
Well, I was passing by the ladies' room and I smelled something funny, and I opened the door and there was smoke.
In a ladies' room?
Yes.
Well, that was just Imogene and Emogene in there smoking their cigars.
Well, I don't expect to have cigar smoke in the ladies' room. Oh.
I think
She went off to check her applesauce cake in the kitchen.
Oh my gosh, my gosh, my applesauce cake! Oh!
But by the time she got to the kitchen, it was more full of smoke than the ladies' room. While everybody was milling around in the street, the applesauce cakes got burnt up. So, of course, the ladies of the potluck committee were mad about that. And Mrs. McCarthy was mad about being caught out by the cigar smoke. And Reverend Hopkins was mad because he was caught in his pajamas. That night, Mrs. Wendell called up everyone she could think of. The ladies of the Mothers Union, the reception committee, the Sunday school teachers, even the counters. And worst of all, she called Reverend Hopkins. So the next day, the rector came to see Mother.
Oh, come in. Won't you sit down? Thank you, darling.
I just can't make heads or tails of it. Some people say they set fire to the kitchen. Some people say they set fire to the bathroom. One lady told me Imogene threw a flower pot at Leroy. Mrs. Wendelkin says all they do is talk about sex and underwear and sing sinful music. And they don't even use the handrail.
That's just Liza Carmichael. She was talking about her dad's underwear. I don't know why. The music, it's not sinful, it's disco, which is rather just distasteful. And they didn't start any fires. The only fire there was the Potlucks Committee's applesauce cake that they burnt up.
Well, the whole church is in an uproar. Do you think there's any way we could call off the pageant?
Certainly not. The children would be so disappointed, especially the Herdmans. This might be the last time we have a chance to get them and their mother into this or any church. I think even the other children are starting to like them.
Could we at least cut out the rap music?
It's not rap, it's disco, but I suppose we could sing Silent Night or Joy to the World or something. This was going to be the best Christmas pageant ever, but I suppose we'll have to settle for the second best Christmas pageant ever.
Well, I doubt anyone's going to come and see it after all the talk.
But Reverend Hopkins was wrong. Everybody came to see what the Herdmans would do. about this year's Christmas pageant was that all through the rehearsals, we got to start liking the Herdmans. And okay, the Herdmans started to like us, too. I'd always thought of how big, bad, awful, horrible, and downright miserable the Herdmans were to us, but I'd never before realized that we weren't very nice to them either. Oh, sure, we never punched them or stole their Oreos, but we tried to ignore them, and we left them out of our games, and we talked about them behind their backs, and even we made fun of them. And they probably didn't like watching us share our Oreos amongst our friends who had Oreos, or dads, or Twinkies, or whatever of their own. The Herdmans never had any sweets. They sometimes didn't even have lunch. It seemed that the nicer I was to Imogene and Imogene, the nicer they were to me. And it was that way with all of them, even Gladys. The night of the pageant, my mother told my father, I don't know what's going to happen. Imogene told me, don't worry. We're going to put on the best Christmas pageant ever. We've got a surprise for you. My father said, well, at least she told you not to worry. My mother said, that's why I'm worried. As the congregation arrived for the pageant, everything seemed like the usual mess, with grumpy shepherds stumbling over their bathrobes, the spotlight swooped back and forth, the man on the lighting wasn't very good, and it went down, up and down until it made you sick to your stomach. And as usual, the piano pitched away in a manger so high that when the congregation sang it, it sounded like a closet full of mice. But everything settled down, and at 7:30 the pageant began. The congregation, including my mother, was all waiting for us to start the pageant with Silent Night, which is the way we always started Christmas pageants. But
All right, hit it, Charlie.
We are really just good kids.
upset, so I knew it was all right. I could hardly wait to see what she thought and what she'd do when she saw our grand finale. We got through the whole Christmas story without any incident. And then Imogene got up to say her final line.
Hey, unto you, a child is born, and I really mean it. Hit it, Charlie.
So was Mrs. Herdman, who'd snuck in late and was standing at the back of the church. After the pageant, Mrs. Herdman was hugging and kissing her kids, and my mom was wiping her eyes and blowing her nose, and I knew she didn't have a cold.
Thanks for tipping me off, buddy old pal face. Thanks for making it such a great pageant. And, you know, being my friend.
What? It was you? You told them about that first rehearsal?
Yeah, but wasn't it fun?
But I didn't get to be married.
But Imogene did.
I think everyone liked the pageant, even better than last year. And although she wouldn't admit it, I think even Mrs. Armstrong liked it too.
K-E-X-U-S, it's a bird.